Welcome in. We're back quicker than last time, which is a good thing. This is Musings from the Mountains, WVSports.com podcast. I am managing editor Keenan Cummings.
And I'm staff writer Patrick Kotnik.
Got a few things to talk about. We're going to jump back a little bit, not too far, but just discuss kind of the ins and outs. West Virginia filled its coaching staff. They have 10 assistants now. Dontae Wright from Western Michigan. Coach safety's there. He's gonna handle Al Pogue's old post at outside linebackers here at West Virginia. Fit the mold of what I think Neal Brown wanted to find in this. Young, energetic coach. Has experience. Guy has defensive coordinator experience at 2 different stops. He's coached special teams as well in places. And the thing that talking with people on the Western Michigan beat that have covered him, the thing that I keep hearing over and over and over, engaged and energetic, which pretty much is what you want to find in a young assistant. He is the type of coach that really connects with the players. One thing that really stood out to me talking with a guy that had covered him during his tenure there was really doesn't miss teachable moments, kind of pulls guys aside, lets them know what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, takes advantage of that. And the word energetic, it makes you think of Al Pogue. Will he have quite the amount of juice he had? Remains to be seen. He was really an infectious type personality. So be interesting to see. I listened to Neal Brown kind of address him a little bit on his podcast with WVU Sports a week ago. And he said the thing that really stood out to him was the potential. And I think that's the word you can really use here, Pat. A young coach that has a lot of potential. And really, for this stage of his career, a lot of experience.
Yeah, replacing Al Pogue is going to be easy right off the bat for a guy that brought a lot of energy, a lot of juice, as he called it. Great coach for West Virginia. Really great guy. When we got to know him. Engaging, energetic. Those are 2 very important qualities I really believe in when it comes to being a coach, especially like in the Power 5 level. That's really important for recruiting. It's very important, like you said, for teachable moments. You know what I'm saying? It's very important for players to realize what they did wrong, be able to be coached up, be able to take the coaching and all that stuff. So I really think, potential is a really big word. We'll just have to see how it plays out.
I don't think Neal Brown's given me zero reason to doubt any of his hires so far. I think he's hit home runs. Don't really know as much about Dontae as do the other 2 guys because he's younger. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. And I do think that, he does have really key ties to areas that West Virginia wants to recruit. He's obviously been in Michigan, but he's from Kentucky, has been in Ohio. He went to school at Miami of Ohio. So connections in areas that you want to see West Virginia recruit. I would assume you're going to see him take over kind of the same areas you saw Al Pogue, but that has not been released yet. I plan on asking that, when we talk with Neal Brown next week. Moving forward here, baseball season. Baseball's in the air, and old Pat is ready to talk about it.
All right. First off, at the time of this taping, West Virginia is 5-3 through 8 games so far, and at this point, the same record that they were through 8 games last season. Coming into the season, though, you really had the biggest concern I would say was pitching. When you lose 3 out of your 4 starting pitchers. 3 of them, got drafted. The lone returner being Jackson Wolf creates some concern there. So coming into this year, you have to think that they have some versatility at their bats. They have a lot of speed. But that was kind of the same issue last year. Is that I personally thought that pitching was going to be a weakness. Their bats would carry them. I was completely wrong. Coming into this year, it's kind of played out the same way so far through 8 games. You're really starting to see Jackson Wolf being the lone returner. 2 fantastic starts so far. And then you got Ryan Berger, a guy who really came on at the end of last year, being the Saturday guy. 2 great starts so far. And even a freshman, I thought coming into this year that Zach Ottinger, another guy like Berger who really gained some momentum at the end of the year. I thought he was going to be the Sunday starter, but he's been more of a bullpen guy so far. So you've had a freshman left-hander in Jake Carr. Got off to a little bit of a rough start.
Mountain State stand up.
Got off to a little bit of a rough start during his first go, but 2 great starts too. Now the big question is now that midweek spot. Are you going to find a guy like Nick Snyder who kind of came out of nowhere last season and had a terrific year? That's why he got drafted. I don't know yet. So far it's kind of been committee games. They're allowing some of their younger pitchers to get experience. People forget that last year with their bullpen, they really had to go deep into their bullpen a lot because they had starters who could pitch a lot of innings. So far that midweek game so far has been, kind of a, like I said, committee, starting to see some guys get more experience, more newcomers get collegiate experience. But another big question, and some people will agree on this, is their bats. Can they capitalize with runners in scoring position? This team has no problem getting on base. You look at Braden Zarniski, he's batting .500 right now. I believe he has 17 hits and 34 at bats, having a great start to the year. He's also gained a couple of saves so far. He's a very dynamic player, very versatile. But outside of him, you're not really seeing, you're starting to see some guys kind of come on. Paul McIntosh is coming into the season was going to be relied on to be a great, to carry their bats, same with Kevin Brophy. But this team has no problem getting on base. It's capitalizing when those guys are at scoring positions. So far, that's been a weakness at this point in the season. Can they get it fixed? It's still early. I think they can. They definitely have the tools to. They have guys who can steal bases like Tevin Tucker, Tyler Dones, Austin Davis. But it's just a question of putting it all together. So far, at this, this early on, you feel good about where they are. There's a lot of questions. They lost a lot of guys coming into this year. So I feel like obviously they're going to be, facing tougher teams. But at this point, you got to feel good. You got to feel good with where their starting pitching's at. But obviously, there's some areas that need to grow in.
Yeah, and the key to all that is find somebody that looks at you the way that Patrick does the baseball schedule. A lot of good information there. Pat covers baseball for us pretty much year-round, does a lot of deep dive stuff, and really is on top of that. Looking at some other things, though, it's question time. We don't necessarily have a lot, I don't think, Pat, do we? We did kind of drop it on people overnight, but we'll see what we got here.
Ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go. First one here. While the story on this season has yet to be closed, can you recall a worst collapse in Mountaineer basketball history?
Man, that's rough to answer. Not only is it rough to answer because I'd have to really go back and think about years, but this season's not over yet, guys. I know it feels like it, and I know I just spent last episode, go ahead and giving the eulogy for this basketball season, but this thing can change on a dime. They could go out and win these next 3 games. You got 2 of them at home. You got one of them against an Iowa State club that's one of the worst in the league. It's not impossible. If they go out and lose all 3 of these games, get knocked out in the first round of the Big 12 tournament, and then lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament or even in a play-in game, yeah, you got a strong argument for a team that was ranked 7th or 8th in the net to fall that far. Probably one of the worst. Right now, though, I'm going to reserve myself and not quite make that assertion because there's still a lot left to play out. We've seen it. Who thought last year's West Virginia team was going to win 2 games in the Big 12 tournament?
And they were picked preseason, 3rd last year? I want to say.
Like
yeah,
that.
yeah. It was high.
They've already overachieved.
Yeah.
I think, they were picked 5th coming into this year?
Yeah, something like that.
So, they've already overachieved for the most part. I think they were in, they're tied for 5th right now, right? Or 6th? One of the two. But they were on track to overachieve until this recent stumble, but we'll see. I'm not ready to quite say that yet, but I think keep that in mind because I will revisit this if they do flame out all the way. If this asteroid keeps catching up fire and hits the Earth, yeah, I think you make a strong argument.
Well, plus, I don't even think you could call last year really collapse because early on, really, you could see.
No, I don't think last year.
Yeah.
I just think the fact that team could win 2 games says that this team definitely could find a way to do it.
Yeah. All right, next one here. This question is kind of about Keno. I know you have things to plan in advance, but how about taping the Musings segment in Kingwood at the Buckwheat Festival?
Preston County stand up. I've done 2 stand-ups in this. That's weird. I don't think I've ever done that before.
No, that's never happened before. It's kind of weird.
It's weird. But still, I think that we do have plans. Hopefully, we're going to continue to expand this and bring maybe a live aspect to it. Go out in the, I don't want to say community, maybe community. Go out and have some shows, invite some people out, ask some questions. That's the end game here. We're hoping to get to that, and we'll see how that goes. I'm not ready to disclose details yet on where it would be.
Right now we're trying to work out simple things. I know a couple of you have pointed out, we need a better backdrop. I agree. Yeah, we both agree. We're working on it.
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
Work in progress. Next question here. Do you think West Virginia's philosophy of forcing the ball inside has made everyone else stagnant on offense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I do. I think that I mean, I think you can see it on the offensive end. I think that there is some frustration. Guys are not really getting screened for shots on the perimeter. Everything's going through the post. The offense is being ran through the post. And teams have adjusted. West Virginia's really struggled to put the ball in the basket, even close to the basket. So, yeah, I think there's frustration. And does that boil over? Is that the reason you're seeing some of the effort issues at other parts? Maybe. If it is, we need to find a way to correct that because that's what Bob Huggins is paid to do. And you're going to have to find a way to address some of these issues because this team, as we mentioned, is picking up steam in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
And, for a team that really did have a chance to do something special, we're talking about team guys that February 8th was projected as a 2 seed. And we're now talking about them six line, maybe even 7 line. Who would have thought that?
I mean, yeah, like you said, I agree with you, Keenan, there. And then, I mentioned last episode too, forcing the ball inside. What Texas decided to do was foul those guys. I mean, it's no secret this year that West Virginia's had its struggles at the free throw line, and they decided, it wasn't rocket science. They're like, we're going to foul their bigs, force them to, go to the free throw line, beat us there, and West Virginia, can't capitalize. 10 of 21 against Texas. Next question here: which is more likely, a Sweet 16 appearance in men's basketball or baseball finishing top 4 in the conference?
I'm still going to go Sweet 16 this year. Is this for this year only?
I would say
I'm going to go Sweet 16, and the only reason I'm going Sweet 16, I know everybody out there, you're crazy. Have you seen the rest of college basketball this year? It's just as bad. There's a reason West Virginia's still ranked, losing 5 of their last 6 games. It's bad, and I think any team can get hot. This team has some major issues to work out, but they've proven they can do it before. Can they do it again? I don't know.
I don't know. At this point, it's gotten bad enough to where I have to kind of see it to believe it at this point. I have to see them get a good win, or maybe even a couple good wins. I said also that last episode too. Can one win, maybe turn things around? I don't know. Probably not. But I'm going to go baseball on this one. I know there's still a lot of questions.
Shocker.
Not biased, but I know there's still a lot of questions about this baseball team. I know it's still very early, but look what Randy Mays been able to do. I mean, they've been able to play for the conference championship before, in a couple seasons, make it to the semifinals. Big 12's always loaded in baseball. I don't care what year it is. It's always going to be loaded. Texas so far is unbeaten. They had a pretty down year last year. You have to go through Texas Tech, TCU, Oklahoma State. I mean, it's loaded every year, but West Virginia has proven year in, year out that they can compete with, with the rest of the conference. And baseball's, the West Virginia baseball program has become stronger. So I'm going to go baseball on this one. Could happen. But next question here: why has West Virginia changed from defending over screens to going under high ball screens?
I don't think they have. See, now I have not asked Bob Huggins this yet. I haven't had a chance. We did not make the trip to Texas. But what I heard in post game is they were supposed to go over and we're going under, which led to some of those open 3 balls. If so, that just strikes back to what we've been talking about now for the last 2 episodes. What happened? Why is this team not doing what it's coached to do? Why is what it's coached to do not clicking with this team? It's an issue. If you're coached to do one thing and you're doing another, that's not good at this point in the season. You're 28 games in at this point. There's no excuse for that.
I believe that's all we got.
There you go. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back very soon. We'll have probably something later in the week. Likely, if not before then, definitely after the Oklahoma game, kind of recapping. Want to remind you of our promo. Buy an annual subscription right now. You get $49.50 back and a gift code to get West Virginia gear. First time watching, you know what to do. Subscribe. Other than that, though, thanks for tuning in again, and we'll see you here soon for Music from the Mountains.